So, my name is Sam McPherson, and as most of you have been as well, I've been doing my internship for this class, and this is going to be my final project for this class. And I'm just going to be talking a little bit about what I've done, the things I've learned, um, and a lot of these project goals that I had with, and just what I've been working on overall. So the place I've been interning at is Live Oak Living Community. And Live Oak Living Community it's a facility that it's a supportive and therapeutic community for adults with cognitive disabilities. And the goal is just to give them a happy life and to help them have as much independence as they can possibly have. Um, it's one of the main goals of Live Oak is just to help these residents be as independent as they can possibly be. And that is the goal of everybody there, all the admins, all of the staff members, and how the whole program is set up is to provide them with opportunities to be independent and just a way to be happy despite some of the problems that they have acquired or were born with. Yeah. So the needs of residents. Um, The disabilities of the residents there include traumatic brain injuries or TBIs, a lot of developmental disorders, schizoaffective, and schizophrenia. Um, Many of the residents there have multiple of these issues, and it's a lot of it is very dependent on what issues they have, what they were born with, what they acquired through things like car accidents or other ways that some of them may have gotten traumatic brain injuries. Um, so there's a lot of different needs, a lot of different things that go on there with each resident. They all have their own lives and things they want to do, things they want to be, and different things that we need to do to help support them and just reaching their goals overall. So my goal for this project is to help the residents with one of the main needs that they have while living at Live Oak, and that is just their daily exercise. A lot of them don't get a lot of exercise. A lot of them will, be in their rooms for a majority of the day. It can be hard to get them to come out. It's super important that we just integrate exercise into their just daily lives. A lot of them, a lot of the residents struggle with weight gain, lots of unhealthy habits, like I said, being sedative, just being sitting around a lot of the day. And a lot of them have unhealthy eating habits as well, which cause diabetes for most of them. Um, and my goal is to just help them solve a lot of these issues and not solve a lot of them, but just help them overcome a lot of these issues. One of the main things I noticed right off the bat is a lot of the residents have unhealthy thoughts and feelings towards themselves, just about a lot of the habits that they have. And a lot of them just struggle with finding purpose for changing and reasons to change and how to even go about changing a lot of these unhealthy habits that they have. And one thing that they all need and that a lot of them want to do but don't know how to is physical activity. And physical activity can really boost one's mental health as well as self-confidence, and it just helps everyone overall. It helps them become more healthy individuals, and that is what my goal was for this project was, and the internship as a whole was to just help them become more physically active and more motivated and capable of doing a lot of these things on their own, and just kind of showing them that exercise can be fun. It doesn't have to be running a whole bunch and training. It can be a fun thing that everyone can do together and everyone can build bonds by doing it. And it's a very healthy thing. And that was really what I wanted to show them with this project. So my objectives for this was to start a club, and through that club I'd be doing it once a week, and I wanted to make exercise fun for everybody. I wanted to make exercise something they could look forward to every week, and something that something that wasn't something that they would just be scared of or kind of not want to do because the thought of exercise and just working your body up. I wanted to change that. I wanted to change the overall, like, yeah, the overall attitude of exercise for the community, um, and just show them that how fun it could be just to get out and do some little exercise, do some games, and just get going with all of the other residents and bond a little bit through the exercise. Um, and this is just to improve their activities of daily living, make life a little bit easier on them, maybe help decrease some stress for a lot of them. That was really what I wanted to do and what I wanted them to achieve through doing this. So the club I decided to do is the Outdoor Activities Club. And like I've been saying, is that I want to just make it fun, make it not something to stress about, not something to worry about the night before, the morning of. I want it to be a lot of fun. So a lot of the activities that we did was like basketball, because Live Oak just has a basketball net, tons of basketballs, and that already was a great and fun way to just get them outside, get them moving around. You can shoot the basketball, running for the ball. It was a really that was one of the main things that gave me the idea for this club, was seeing that, okay, y'all already have one thing that you could use in order to have a lot of fun with exercise. And so yeah, I saw the basketball net, and then I was also made aware that there is a giant shed on the property that has all types of different equipment just for games, like baseballs, just any type of like balls that you could hit. There's soccer goals. There's like like um like like tennis nets, and lots of things that you could just lots of different things you could do. We could get creative with it. There was a lot of different games that we could play, and for once a week, I would plan out something fun that they could do. Sometimes it was basketball. Other times it would be like I would make a big hopscotch um, drawing on one of the main sidewalks that goes through the property, and we would do it with and make a little obstacle course. There was a lot of different things that we would do in order to just make it different, make it unique every time, but still get them the proper exercise that they needed. Um, and through my time doing this, a lot of the main things that I noticed was the residents would get out, they were socializing a lot more with each other. A lot of them would isolate and not wouldn't come out. They wouldn't talk to each other unless they were just had to be around each other for things like meals. This was just a reason to get them out and hanging out with each other and bonding. Um, and I really just wanted to see the attitude change, see them be a little more excited about coming out and doing this once a week. Because I think that's once they can see how fun it can be, that is the biggest difference that can be made, because it encourages them to want to do this. Even if I wasn't doing this club, it would make them realize, like, hey, we can go get the soccer goals, and we could just play a little game of soccer, and we could go get some food after. It's not, there was a lot of attitude change that I really wanted to have for the community. So for a lot of my peer reviewed research for this, and to just validate a lot of these goals that I had for them, one of the main articles I was reading about just found that physical activity is a positive aspect on one's mental health, body image, and self-concept. And this was really important because a lot of them struggle with body image, whether it's being overweight or just not looking exactly how they want to look. Um, Physical activity is just the quickest way to enable them to feel a lot better about themselves. Just it decreases stress. There's a lot of things that it can help with, and that was one of the most important aspects of this. And another article that I read about that was more specific towards adults with cognitive disabilities is that it'll very specifically just them being active once a day, once a week, just doing more than they did before is it's going to help increase or decrease their issues with things like obesity, heart disease, stroke, and a lot of these other challenges that these residents face because most of them have these problems. Um, and as long as we could just decrease the risk of that and having them enjoy it, that was huge to me. And that was what I really wanted to do. That was really important because that's like their physical health on the line. A big part of it is their mental health. Um, but their physical health is also something that I had in mind when deciding to do this. And that was after reading that article, it really gave me more reason to have this be what we do to help them more. So the target population at Live Oak, there is 4 males for every female resident, and there's 16 males, 4 females. And each of them struggle with their own things. And I didn't, there wasn't, I wasn't trying to get one of the genders specifically to come out, one or the other. It was everybody as a whole, because I think that everyone could have benefited from it. Um, it didn't really matter what gender you were in this situation. I just wanted everyone to come and join in just to make it more communal and to have it more fun. And I think one important thing was if I could get one of the women out doing it, I could get more of the women out to come exercise. And with the males, it was a little bit easier because they one would come, more would, and then more would come. Um, so as long as I could get one of the women out, usually another one would follow. One or two would always come, and that was super. That made me very happy to see, just because it that was part of the bonding process of it. Is it helped a lot of them make friend, just be make better relationships with each other. Because during my time at Live Oak, I had there was more residents came. Whenever I started, I believe there was 3 women there, and now there's 4 and potentially a fifth. And I've already noticed that in the later weeks of me doing this, um, if I got one of the girls to come, the others would always come along. And that just made a huge difference in what I wanted to do for them. And it really helped me get more people out there and going, just having one person go. So my methodology, creating a lot of strong resident or bonds with the residents was, I think, the main key to really helping this club work because a lot of them just didn't want to come when I started. They didn't like, it was just a change to their schedule. It was not something like a lot of them are set in their ways and want to do things how they want to do them. And by just creating, I spent the first 2 or 3 weeks at this internship just creating bonds with a lot of the residents. And that's what really enabled me to, be able to go up to them and just say, hey, like, let's do this. Let's go play some games. Let's just go exercise. And just because I had that bond, they were really more willing to come join me and get the benefits that comes with it. And the next thing was just making everybody feel included. I noticed that when on the weeks whenever a lot of people would come, it was easy to get lost in what was going on and to just let them do their thing. And that didn't always work out. Sometimes they would get in their own group and do certain things. And it was very important just to make sure everybody was included. Like if we were playing basketball, we were playing the game horse, for example, I would make sure everyone, I would be in charge of just like almost refereeing the game. I would make sure everyone was getting to shoot the basketball, everyone got a chance to do everything, and everybody was just included in what was happening. And from doing all this, I collected data from it. And what I collected was the number of individuals showing up every week, the consistency of members showing up every week, and the level of enjoyment that they had. Those were three very important things because it really gave me a good idea of who wants to come, who is willing to make it a consistent thing that they come do, and whether they actually enjoy it or not. Because if they weren't enjoying it, then I wasn't doing it right. And I wasn't serving them how they needed to be served. And and then just the enjoyment level that they got from it was huge in making the whole picture come together and making everything else work. And that was a very important thing for me to do. And a lot, they did enjoy it a lot. A lot of them, it took me a little bit. It was rough for a while. I still had some weeks where it was difficult to get people to come out, but when I could get the residents to come out, the enjoyment was great, and they really enjoyed whenever they came. And I'm hoping that as I continue working at Live Oak past this internship, I can get my numbers up for the club much higher and have them all just consistently coming and really just having an hour a day a week just to enjoy themselves. So my major findings was that the number of residents that showed up every week, it really varied. There was a lot of issues that we had that I had throughout the semester. And this was a new experience for me. And I was learning as I went along about how to handle things like the weather or how they might have just mentally felt that day or like certain activities that we had going on earlier that day. A lot of that came into play and I didn't realize that at the start, but a lot of that came into play. And so yeah, we had a lot of problems with the weather. The weather this summer has been up and down, rain at random times. And it it made it difficult to consistently have the club at the same time every week, but we still made it work. A lot of the residents just sometimes they would get into their own head. They wouldn't want to come, and I would never want to force them to come out with me and come exercise with me. So if they were just having a bad day, didn't want to come, I wouldn't be pushy on them for it. I just let them be. And they're at Live Oak. There's a lot of different clubs going on. There's a lot of different activities that go on, lots of different things. Some residents go off the property at certain times, others will be here, then they'll leave. And it was for a while, I had my club at the start or at later in the day. And that was, it didn't work out well when I had it earlier in the day because or when I had it later in the day because it would just be very hot. And normally by that time, by 3, 4 o'clock, they'd be worn out. They would have been doing stuff all day and they were ready to just not be outside and exercise more. I can completely understand that. So it took some tweaking for a while just to figure out the right time. And we came to the realization that doing it in the morning and on a day where they didn't have any huge activities going on was the best way to go about it. Um, I found that encouraging the residents just throughout the week and talking about this and bringing it up to them and just reminding them like, hey, this is going to be happening on this day at this time this week. Do you want to come? Would you like, is there anything you'd like to do? And just constantly reminding them of what's going on and what I have to do and that it's going to be a good time if they come. It just took a lot of reminding, just telling them like, hey, this is happening. You should come. And through doing all of this, getting the residents to come was a bit of a struggle. I didn't think that that would happen at the start because when I came into Live Oak, there were lots of clubs going on, lots of people going to all the clubs. And it I thought that it would just be the same with me right off the bat, but it wasn't that way. I really needed to work at it and really encourage them to come. Um, and the numbers varied just depending, like I said, about the weather, the heat, what was going on that day. A lot of it varied, and I didn't get the the numbers that I wanted to. Um, but I still felt like it was a success because even if it's only two or three residents coming, that's two or three more residents getting more daily exercise than they would have been getting. And that was really what I wanted. I hope to get these numbers even higher for the future, but I'm going to keep working at it, obviously. So my chart down here, this was week one. I had two people come. Second week, two people came. It made me a little bit weary about if I was doing something right or wrong, if I wasn't making the club fun enough for them. But eventually I saw an increase to four people. And then on the peak day, I got about seven people. And that was a really good day. That was a really good time. A lot of them, that was the best. They all enjoyed it. Everyone loved it. Then I saw the numbers fluctuate back down to about three. Um, and that was something I'm still learning and dealing with and trying to figure out what I can do to encourage them more and help them get out more. Um, One thing I did consistently notice though is that when they did come, they would always enjoy it. They would talk about it, and they wouldn't always come back, but they would. I could see smiles, and I could see that they would enjoy it, and that was very important to me. So my conclusions for this project was that a lot of the positives were that every week residents were getting more daily exercise than they were before. That was the main goal was achieved. That's what I wanted. I didn't get the amount I wanted, but I still got them out there doing it, and that was really what I wanted to happen. And another thing I noticed was there was great bonding experiences with everybody involved, with me and the residents and the residents. Other staff would sometimes come out and they would all bond together. It was just a great time for everybody to just get to know each other more and to really connect with each other a lot more. And lastly, I felt like that I just gave the residents something to look forward to every week. The ones that came consistently, I, I I really think they enjoyed it and looked forward to it. And I hope to continue doing this and getting more of them out there consistently and just having a good time where everyone can just hang out with each other and really enjoy it. And some of the negatives that I saw was just getting residents motivated to attend the club consistently or at all. It was very difficult, as I've explained. It was very difficult getting a lot of them to come. A lot of them don't, a lot of them do not specifically want to do physical exercise and really convincing them to get out there and do it. It was difficult and a lot of weeks I struggled to get a lot of people coming and it it made me worry about if I was going to be able to ever get anybody consistently going to this club. And that was something that was a really big struggle at the start and even now, but I know that with what I've learned from doing this, I'm very capable of creating more bonds and more relationships and just making it more fun for them and better for them to come out. Another negative that I had during doing this was I changed the club's time a lot. Um, it was a lot of the time, it was just conflicting with other things that were going on. There was every Friday, Live Oak would do like a summer games in the morning, and then my club would be after that, right? And the summer games was all about being outside and doing a lot of things with doing water balloon games and just having like a good Friday. And usually by the time they finished that, they were pooped, they were done, they didn't want to do anything else, understandably. And that was a big problem I had. And I had to change the time of it a lot. And I had to really make sure that the schedule permitted for me to do it. And that was a struggle. But we have a solidified time now. And I think with the consistency of the day the club is going to be on, which is Thursdays, I expect to see more people come out every day. And then the weather would just wouldn't permit for it a lot of the times. Either it was raining or it was blistering hot and no one would want to come outside. And it's Texas. I completely understand why he would feel that way. It's so hot. So that was a big thing. And I know that as I continue working at Live Oak and it gets a little bit cooler, I really think that the numbers are going to go up even more. And I really expect to see more improvements with this club as I keep going. These are my references, and this is my project.